Hi Sagittarius, and welcome to your energy reading for May the 8th, 2017. Look at what energies may be available for the sign of Sagittarius for the week beginning Monday, May the 8th, 2017. The first card we have is the card of Temperance, the Five of Swords, and the Five of Cups. We have the Hierophant, the Seven of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. So the first energy that we enter this week with is the first of two major arcana, and that's Temperance. Temperance can talk to the sign of Sagittarius, and we can be looking at any dates from the 23rd of November to January the 8th. Maybe something we set our sights on back then last year, or something we're setting our sights on later on in the year. But this card talks about getting into balance, finding emotional balance within ourselves, being able to touch and feel our emotions, but not let them overrule us. Being thankful and grateful of everything that we have that surrounds us, and knowing that the flow of energy is eternal, and mixing the masculine with the feminine, indicated in the gold cup and the silver cup, and blending and mixing a good balance of both masculine and feminine energy is the way forward in a situation. It talks about being granted strength, strength in a situation. If a situation asks us to have faith and trust that we're prepared to do that, it's a card of patience, and knowing that divine timing is all part and parcel of the process. It's being content in our time of waiting, knowing everything has a flow to it, and we can't fight energies and we can't push energies. The realization of the balance that we need in all areas to move forward. It can talk about having a need to balance our finances. So it can be a good signifier that we are needing to take balance somewhere in life. Now it's the 14th card of the major arcana, and 14 breaks down to a number 5. 5 is the unpredictability. It's the energetic, constant motion and change that happens around us. Now the next card to it is the Five of Swords. The card after that is the Five of Cups, and below it we have the second major arcana in the reading, the Hierophant, and he's also the 5th card. So 5s are very prevalent in pulling our attention to the fact that we need to find balance in probably how we think and communicate and how we feel about a situation. Maybe we're conflicted and finding conflict, which we found in the Seven of Swords, due to something traditional, our traditional values. So let's carry on. There's definitely a lot of change, a lot of changeable energy that if we appreciate and work with, we look to be stepping on the right path as to where we need to go. So balance, temperance talks about finding that balance. It's about realising we've hit a point of surrender, and if we just surrender ourselves to the situation, we can work through it. The Five of Swords talks of the whole of victory. The Five of Swords talks about us being in a feeling of loss, in a mindset of loss. It can be the loss of a friendship, or a breakdown, or a argument within a friendship, a work situation, and a love situation. But there's two minds coming together that are not finding compromise, and as the end result, somebody's going to get hurt in the situation. It talks about being opposed. We could have opposing, conflicting thoughts about a situation. We could be bullied, but it does, and we could actually talk of some kind of a loss here. We could lose the battle, we could lose the argument, but at the end of the day, nobody wins, because no compromise could be met to work through it. It does talk about having to stand your ground, and we don't need to respond aggressively to situations. So I would say it's here as a warning that whatever comes, if anyone throws something or suggests something this week to you, that we don't have to watch how we react to that. Keep an eye on our reactions. There could be communication problems. There could be problems within the family when this card's about. We could not be speaking clearly enough if we have the balance to speak our truths, but not in a negative way. We can get through, but be cautious of how we communicate this week, or how we think about a situation. And that's sat alongside the Five of Cups, which again is a card that puts us in a feeling of loss. And this can be the loss of a love, the loss of a friendship, the loss of trust more than anything else. And that's brought us to an ending of a situation, a separation from someone, a lack of communication with someone. And then we move to the second major arcana that you have in the reading, and this again is the number 5, and he talks about change again. Now the Hierophant, his change is a change that he knows he needs to make. He knows he's not clear on something. He knows he needs to listen to his own intuition to seek the answers that he's searching. He talks about marriages, contracts, the legal system, the education system, and the church. He talks about traditional beliefs versus untraditional. He talks about doing things in the unorthodox way compared to the orthodox way, thinking outside the box. Anything that we're unclear about, seeking the knowledge, gaining the wisdom regarding it. He is the male partner to the High Priestess, and he does, as much as she does, talk about using our intuition, being alone with ourselves to enlighten. So the Hierophant could be the recognition of how we fear losing, or we fear moving forward, how we fear the loss of something, or the feeling of loss is more prominent than the gain that could be obtained. So if we move away from the fear of losing a situation, of losing a person, we can gain the insight as to why them events happened that way. If we have a good balance and caring, nurturing nature, and not respond to these situations in the way we can do, then we could easily acquire the knowledge of working through energies we've got to release. And though even both these energies talk of a struggling energy, it could just be we still overthink, we still overanalyze a situation where we felt abandoned, or we felt lost in the past, or we felt hurt. But when we move to the energy of the Hierophant, we gain clarity on this situation, even if it is only that change is inevitable, which Temperance says it's going to happen anyway. And rather than fight it and be in conflict with it, or be remorseful that things have got to change, embrace it. The Hierophant sits and he points straight up to Temperance. He's saying, embrace, be within the flow, have the patience and compassion to work through these kind of energies, because the enlightenment's there. The Hierophant can talk to the time period of Taurus, and Taurus energy, we're talking the April 21st to about June the 19th. So any dates in there, it could be something we started, something we worked through at that time, that has brought us to this energy now. And that takes us straight to the Seven of Pentacles. Now the Seven of Pentacles talks about, it's the assessment card. We've done all this work, we've toiled, we've persevered, we've shown our dedication in an area, and we've invested our time, our money, all on the promise of success when we complete this cycle of 10. We're at 7. We've only got 3 to go. But we're not under no misconceptions. Our hard work has got us as far as we've come. And it's not a time now to doubt where we're going. Yep, we've still got 3 more pentacles to go. But if we're prepared to put in the hard work and look at the possibilities of where we can go now, we can see the rewards that we can logically expect as a return for what we've invested. It's a card that tells us to stay on track. We're on the right path. Just still be prepared to put in the hard work and diligence you need for them few more steps. Do not doubt your ability in getting all the way to the 10 and completing this challenge. So doubt could be our overall energy. We doubt we have the patience to get through. We doubt we can handle inner conflict or conflict regarding the situation. And we doubt we can handle it, be successful and not turn out a loss. But if we take the time to look at the situations, to analyse how far we've come, we know to move forward with the balance and the patience of temperance will bring us to that outcome that we are looking for. The next card we have is the Page of Wands. Now the Page of Wands can talk to the spring, which we are in the springtime now, so we are very much talking about activity now around us. If the Five of Swords was a situation where we'd lost contact with someone, we're not actually talking with someone, or communications broke down, the Page of Wands comes in to tell us this is a good sign or a good time that communications could start up again. There could be a lot of activity. There could be a lot of responsibilities, but there's a lot of eagerness to get forward, to move forward, fueled by them passions and desires. He can talk of good news arriving with the Page of Wands. Excuse me. He can talk about travel, communication. He can talk about a new job. He can talk about entertainment, pleasures and desires. He's quite charming and chatty. If we are looking at new relationships, it's someone who's quite flirty and fun. But he talks about it's now a time to express ourselves. It's now a time to put down the words or paint the pictures, dance the dance, write the music, or express ourselves through any creative pursuit that we love. It can still be a career, can still be a work opportunity, but being creative, putting our full potential into it. And then that's paired with the Page of Cups. So we have 2 pages together here. Pages can refer to children. So there could be children around us at the minute. We could have a fire sign, a young Sagittarian, Aries or Leo. We could have a young water sign, Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer. But there could be, if it's a new relationship, there could be two young at heart, enthusiastic entities that are coming together to work together. One very creative and passionate, one more idealistic, and enthusiastic. Now, as the Page of Wands talks to the spring, the Page of Summer, the Page of Cups talks to summer. So are we looking at something, making a change in the springtime, taking action on a situation, a new situation we want in our lives to come around in the summer? The Page of Cups does talk to companionship. It talks to outings, fun, and having playtime. It talks to our imagination, our dreams. It can be a message of love, but it can be optimism towards our finances. It talks about being imaginative. And it talks about being young at heart. So the Page of Wands energy and the Page of Cups energy may be mature kings and queens. There may be knights, but that innocence of the childhood expectations and the primal urges of desires, the very spark of these things budding within us. If we are single, the Page of Cups can come very easily as a sign that there's a love offer in the environment. But it can talk about a creative project, which the Page of Wands would talk about a creative project. And it can talk about that flourishing and actually improving our finances too. And them two together is really saying loving and enjoying our creativity and our drive and our ambition in a certain area. And they are sat with the next card, which is the Three of Pentacles. Now the Three of Pentacles talks about hitting a point in a creative endeavour or in our work sector where our reputation is now being known. We're being recognised for what we do. We're being appreciated for the amount of learning it's took to be as skillful as we are at the job we do. It talks about our performance in a situation. And it does talk of the first step of completion. The first rooting of something solid in our environment around us regarding this situation. It can be a time where we may be making a speech or planning an event for the future. But there's some kind of demonstration of our skills that is in the public domain rather than the private domain. It can talk about financial investments in properties, moving of property, getting a property ready to move into or move out of. But it can be the recognition of things needing to move on and needing to grow and expand. It can talk about the coming together with others to make a project, or to ground and stabilize this idea in our physical environment. Now, with the Three of Pentacles sat by the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups, I think that very well could be. The Seven of Pentacles could be somebody else appreciating and offering us a new position, or maybe a partnership. And they're all brought together by the final card, the Nine of Pentacles. Now the Nine of Pentacles talks to the card of independence. With this card we can be very focused on us and our needs, on us and our path forward. It is a card of appreciation of all the work we've done, how far we've come, to be able to pat ourselves on the back for the security and the dependability we've shown ourselves. It doesn't necessarily mean we are single, though it is depicted as the single person's card. It can depict a single mother having to do every job, budgeting all the household, bringing in the income, doing everything. But it does talk very much about even someone who's in a relationship or a marriage. They've had their own job, they've made their own earnings, they've made their own status in their own right. But it is a card that talks about focusing on our independence. It can be our own business. Maybe there is the offer, an offer around to work with someone else. And maybe we are more focused on moving forward on our own. Maybe we get an offer here, a passionate offer coming in, maybe an offer of love from someone that has hurt us in the past, and we look back and reflect on how it hurt us. We look back on the conflicts that it caused within us, and we appreciate how far we've come. Others appreciate how far we've come. And we're now in a position where we're that stable, unless this situation has changed, which Temperance and the Hierophant says change is there. And these energies are coming in with the best intentions. it could be worth looking at the opportunities to overcome these energies and give it a second try. I feel patience and balance, listening to our intuition, gaining the wisdom we need to keep the balance regarding a love situation or a love offer, or how we feel about offering our love to someone else. We could have this rush of desire here that awakens our own emotional capacity of wanting to not preconceive the energies of the Five of Swords and the Five of Cups, and being open to something working with somebody else, something actually coming together and being fulfilling and prosperous to us. We could, in this card, if it is regarding love, be looking at a truly independent person. Someone who's well established. Don't doubt the conflict. Don't entertain the conflict. Keep the patience so we don't react to a confrontation in a certain way. And keep in faith that things will grow and prosper in the future. Or a situation where we have got discord or no communication, being left in a feeling of loss and rejection. And we could have done this to somebody else, but they could have done it to us too. We can work through them energies with this heavy energy of the Hierophant and Temperance by its side, not doubting ourselves, with enthusiasm and passion to still move on, to still do what we need to do and go where we need to go. Having balance and patience in a situation, knowing that the time's right, things will move forward, believing and trusting we're on the right path, brings us to that self, that feeling of self-recognition, of self-worth. And the Nine of Pentacles does talk a lot about appreciating our self-worth and how far we've come. So if nothing more this week, we can work by keeping the faith and not doubting ourselves. We can work through to being in that place of rightfully feeling proud about how far we've come and what we've managed to achieve so far. We can have an open attitude towards new loving situations or new creative ideas or passions or desires. In these cards, not only do our talents show how good we are, but other people appreciate it and see it too. And there may be somebody jealous, and that's why we get the Fives of Swords attitude. but it can talk of a separation, a lack of communication, a separation, a rejection, and energy's changing. That can throw us off balance. And if these are two situations that don't work out this week, you know, have faith that the right time, the right place, things will come right. Don't let it knock you off balance. Keep listening to the intuition. Find the knowledge that you need to keep the positive mindset, and don't doubt yourself to move forward. Right then, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for coming to see me again this week, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.